Okay, now we'd like to cover the bypass HEPA. As many of you know, HEPA filtration is known as the top filtration on the market. It's 99.97 at 0.3 microns. The problem with the HEPA filter is you can't put it in line with the airflow because it'll block the airflow. So what we've designed here is a bypass HEPA. So Gary, why don't you explain how this one works?
Yeah, this is a 300 CFM HEPA unit. This can be mounted right on the return plenum or collar mounted. What you're basically doing is taking 300 CFM's air out of the return plenum into the unit through the pre-filter, through the blower, through a HEPA filter, and blowing it back in. So once you get below this unit on the plenum, nothing happens. So this is a zero static pressure solution, but yet you're removing the 99.97% at 0.3 microns out of the air, and it'll remove lower. So the way I look at it is you're taking, let's say it was a 1,000 CFM air handler, you're taking 30% of the air and literally taking everything out of it and blending it back in below.
So it's a multiple pass operation like any other
absolutely
product, yeah.
multiple pass thing, several air passes, and you have extremely clean air. So it's a great way to get the best technology into a system and yet not create any static
I know
pressure.
they can't see it on camera here, but in the back here there's two rectangular holes. Really easy installation if you put it on metal duct, just like you would mount a humidifier. Just cut two rectangular holes. It's got a template, right?
It has a template.
And then they just screw it onto there. And then inside here, Gary will cover this. I like this removable door, especially if you're trying to install this with one guy.
Oh yeah, it makes it so much easier to handle it when you're doing the install.
Okay, so what we got in here?
So we've got the pre-filter, blower motor, HEPA filter. The pre-filter and the HEPA filter are acting like mufflers.
Yeah, because of the sandwich in between them.
Correct, so that makes it extremely quiet. Service-wise, the blower motor section, if you just remove 4 screws, you can pull that out also and put in a new module. So if you ever have service, it's 10 minutes you can basically have a brand new unit.
We got a 7-year warranty on this, correct?
7-year warranty on it.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about the motor.
It's a reverse incline motor. It's a high static motor because it takes a lot of oomph to get the air through there. So there's actually a low and high speed on it. It'd be great to run it on high speed all the time, but if you put this on a system that has a variable speed blower on it, when we're taking 300 CFMs and we're blowing that right back in one part of the plenum, that makes some noise in that return. And when your system's heating and cooling and the system fans are amped up, this is completely invisible. But when that variable speed system idles down, you may hear
some white noise.
The white noise of the HEPA unit running.
Some people it doesn't bother, but if it did bother them, you have that option to turn it down.
You just put it on low. At low, it's 270 CFM, so it's not like it's cutting it in half. We just played with this and kept slowing it down until it became invisible, and the 270 CFM is where it was at.
Couldn't hear it all, right?
So if it's an AC system where the fan always runs fast, then you can always leave it on high. But I tried on high, and if they're going to run continuous fan is where in a variable speed you may need low. If they're going to run in the auto mode and the fan's going to be on and off, then they can always run it on the high setting. So okay. It's just how do you get rid of any possible objection there could be? We always try to think of something. So.
And it's insulated as well for unconditioned air and to help it be more quiet.
Yep, it's insulated to make it quiet, and so you won't get any condensation if you put it in an attic install or someplace where it's hot.
Okay, let's go over the pre-filter here first. This is a 2-inch, or I'm sorry, is that 2-inch? 1.5 inch pleat?
I believe it's a 2-inch carbon pleat, so there's a little bit of carbon and then pleated filter for pre-filtering.
So that stops all the big chunks from getting into the blower wheel and to the HEPA itself.
Right, this is a 6-month replacement, so twice a year this is replaced, works perfect with the service contracts.
Okay, I like this too. On the sides here, we got a nice tight seal so we don't get any blow by.
Yeah, there's literally no blow by to this unit, good tight seal.
Okay, so then it goes through the reverse incline motor here, and the last thing we got is the key to the operation is the true 99.97% HEPA filter. And that's the same thing, we have the nice tight fit here as well.
That's going to be a 2-year replacement, so every other year the HEPA filter would be replaced.
It is directional, so it's got the arrows there to show you which way to go. Now there are some applications, the one I have in my home, I didn't have any room to put, even though I got a metal plenum, I had things in the way. I got a water heater there, I got a water filter, I had the humidifier, so I had to actually remote mount mine with collars. So in that application, instead of cutting the rectangular holes, you'd use one of these 8-inch collars.
Right, there's a decal on the top. When you take the decal off, there's already a punch out for the 8-inch collar, and there's holes pre-drilled that match up to the collar. So it's real easy to put a collar, one on the top, one on the bottom. The top's the intake, the bottom is the exhaust. Then you can take 8-inch hard pipe or flex and connect it to the system. The unit can be mounted in a lot of ways. You can mount it directly to a wall. You can hang it with chain.
Can it be mounted horizontally?
It can be mounted horizontally. The blower doesn't care which way it's mounted, so it doesn't affect the bearings. There's some angle. Do you have those little angle brackets?
Yeah, right down here.
These brackets actually, you take the screws out and they mount on the screws here, and you can put this across and then just shoot screws through that into the wall to mount it on the top or bottom. Or you can pull the filters out and simply shoot screws right through the back of the unit into the wall. So you got a lot of
That's what we had to do with mine.
Yeah, there's a lot of easy ways to mount it.
So we figured out, looks like 3 different ways to install it.
3 ways. The idea with this unit was we wanted this to be 30-minute or less install. So everything was thought of, that's why the duct mount's so great. It's really quick. But even with a collar mount, it's a very fast install, something you can get in, install. It looks really professional, and you don't spend a lot of time.
So it's a nice way to get HEPA filtration in someone's home, because there are doctors that say that they're recommending that their patients have HEPA filtration. And some of the other filtrations we have, the polarized media and some of the other filters used on the market, aren't true HEPA. Even though we can get some of the same results using polarized media, this is true HEPA filtration. Now keep in mind, we're running about 30% of the air through each pass, so you're not going to get HEPA filtered air per pass.
Right, but how about,
we get multiple passes in every home.
And then how about somebody's house that has hot water heat and they don't
Right.
have a forced air system? This could be installed as a standalone unit. It could be put in the basement and then just run a return on one side of the house, a supply on the other. 300 CFM is a heck of a lot of air. You correct an air current and you can have HEPA, a central HEPA unit for a home that doesn't even have a forced air system.
You'd be running it all the time, so you'd get multiple changes that way.
Absolutely, would work really good. But what can we do for gases?
For gases, we talked about on our UV systems, we have the oxidation system. But here, we got a little bit of carbon in here. And this is just, like everybody else is putting carbon in their filters today. So we put a little bit of carbon in there, and that you're going to get very little arrestance on VOCs. So what we added is a VOC3 module. And this is a full block of carbon. This will last about 2 years. So we got a lot of surface space to absorb gases in here. So the way this is installed, we got this little space in here. It's very easily just slides right in. Now this is an option. So if someone wants real good VOC control and gas phase contamination control, we can add this VOC module here. That'll last a lot longer than with the carbon that's in here on top.
Yeah, it's like carbon matrix cell, and the efficiency is incredible.
Yeah,
so
it's awesome.
It's the only way I've seen to really remove gas loads to the point. Everybody has these products that are supposed to remove gas loads from the home. So we get it, we try it, and we go in with some good VOC meters, and you can never measure any
Right.
improvement in the house. So if you can't measure it, it's not happening. This you can measure. This is happening. You can really see the VOC load in the house drop when you put that
Yeah,
cell
we
in.
used the VOC meter in our office and put one of these in. You could physically watch it come down. It reduced the VOC levels by 35% in less than 20 minutes. So when you're running it continuously and you get more gases, you'll see that come down very quickly. So the VOC3 module is a key for VOC control and gas phase contamination. And here again, it is an option. We got a little bit of carbon in here, but don't oversell the carbon, just like we don't oversell the carbon in our polarized media. It serves its purpose, but really to get all those gases out of the air at high rates, you need a VOC3 module, which has enough surface space to make that happen.
And then actually, if we put our oxidizing UV unit above this, that oxidant is going to come through and help recharge these carbon cells.
That's an awesome way of doing it.
All of our technologies tie together and improve efficiency.
Right. That's something that most people don't know, that the oxidation coming off that unit will take care of the gases in here and keep refreshing it. So this could almost last indefinitely, but you know, we still want to get it on a change cycle. We tell them 2 years. Without that, probably 3 to 5 years if you're using the oxidation with it. Is that about what you think?
Yep, I think that's it.
Okay, great.